Blindness, written by Erica Limones, read by Ray Lavos. Antonio is 70 years old. A long time ago, a bit after his wife's death, an illness left him blind. Some say that sadness caused him to lose his vision, although he claims that nothing can make him sad. His daughter, Camila, a 40-year-old cook, has dedicated herself to caring for him for quite some time. Even though she has an apartment on the other side of the city, she lives with her father. Despite the fact that her father desires that she have a life free from such responsibility, Camila refuses to abandon him. "It's good for you to go to your apartment some days," says Antonio. "I'm not going to leave you alone," answers Camila, a little upset at the insistence. "I was alone for many years," says Antonio calmly. "But that was when you could see. Now you are blind. Or have you forgotten?" argues Camila. "Sometimes I forget. I can hear and smell so well that I don't have any problems," Antonio objects, proud of himself. "I know, but it's still crazy," says a discouraged Camila. After which, she takes her work purse, kisses her father on the forehead, and walks out the door. One fine day, Antonio manages to convince his beloved daughter to take a well-deserved vacation in a coastal town 2 hours from his home. Camila is to go and enjoy 2 days at the beach with some friends. Despite feeling a bit fearful to leave her father, she accepts that she needs to rest and disconnect from the world for a couple of days. She makes all of the preparations and arranges the necessary items for the trip: swimsuit, sunscreen, beach towel, food, money, clothes, and other things. Antonio, sitting next to her, listens to her carefully and tries to guess what objects she puts in her suitcase. "Are you taking the sunscreen?" asks Antonio, intrigued. "Yes, I have it in my hand," answers Camila. "I knew it," says Antonio enthusiastically. "How do you manage to do that?" asks Camila amid laughter. "It's a new gift I've acquired," answers Antonio. "What do I have in my hands now?" asks Camila with a mocking smile, because her hands are empty. "Surely nothing. You want to trick me." They both laugh. The afternoon arrived, and Camila waits for her cab in order to leave. Antonio accompanies her to the entrance of the house. She's nervous and keeps giving her father instructions about everything he has to do. "Remember not to turn on the stove. I left you food in containers in the fridge," says Camila nervously, looking at her father. "I know," answers Antonio patiently. "Don't press the microwave button more than twice. It's programmed to heat up well just by pressing it once," Camila continues. "I know, darling," answers Antonio. "Don't leave anything out of place. You could trip," says Camila. "Darling, I'll be fine, and even better when I stop listening to you," Antonio says, laughing. They both laugh. Camila hugs her father and gets into the cab. Night falls. It's cold, but everything is quiet. Normally on weekends, some neighbor throws a party or teenagers make a fuss in the community. But tonight is different. It's very quiet, and it looks like it will be a perfect night. Antonio turns on the TV to listen to a good movie, serves himself some snacks, and sits in front of the TV as if he could see it. Outside the house in the garden, there is a man looking in. He is not very close, but from the window you can see his figure behind some bushes. Antonio, who is blind, is not realizing that he is being watched. The night goes on, and now Antonio listens to some music while he dances clumsily in the room. He is happy, although he is alone. He knows that his wife would also be happy because at least their daughter is enjoying herself. The man continues to look from the outside. He has been looking through the window for more than an hour and has decided to enter. The mysterious intruder goes to the back of the house and tries to enter through a small window. He carefully breaks it and manages to get through. Antonio stops immediately. Despite the high volume of the music, he has heard the noise from the window. His sense of hearing has become increasingly acute, and he is able to hear almost anything. He turns off the music and slowly approaches the back of the house. The mysterious man, who now does not hear the music, hides behind a piece of furniture. Antonio arrives at the same room where the intruder is hiding. He suspects that something is not right. He stops in the middle of the room and begins to smell. He takes a deep breath, trying to determine all possible smells until he identifies one that is strange to him. After a few seconds, Antonio manages to perceive the intruder's cologne. He knows that smell has never been in the house. Antonio leaves the room, apparently calm, and begins to come up with his plan. He carefully takes some cooking oil and begins to spread it on the floor under the stairs. He turns off every single light that was on, including the TV. He goes upstairs, making a lot of noise, trying to let the intruder know that he is there. He must want my wife's jewels, Antonio thought. If he knows I have them, he must suspect they are up here in the safe, he thought further. Antonio put his phone in the pocket of his sweater. He stood at the top of the stairs, just over the place where he had poured the oil. He carefully took a 1 meter long wooden statue and held it up with strength and patience until he heard the man's footsteps approach. The intruder walked cautiously, looking from side to side. He began to search the room, among the drawers, through the bookcase, behind the television, and anywhere a safe could be stored. He went very carefully and in total silence. But what he didn't know was that Antonio was listening to every step he took and knew the precise location where he was standing. When the intruder stepped on the oil, he slipped and fell to the ground. After the sound of the fall, Antonio dropped the wooden statue and pounced on the man, breaking his ankle and leaving him immobilized. Then Antonio called the police. A few minutes later, as the officers took the handcuffed thief away, there was only one thought that crossed Antonio's mind. Will I tell my daughter?